I promise you have not seen a tactic like this on Football Manager. This is the Rocketman 4231 attacking tactic created by my buddy Zach on Discord. Before testing this tactic with random teams, I took it for a spin in a one-off game with RB Salzburg against Liverpool. And we absolutely smashed Liverpool 4-0 in that one game. No tactical familiarity, no training sessions beforehand, just the one game. The first game, 4-0 win over Liverpool, an elite side in Football Manager. I like to think I'm Zach's therapist because he has seen a lot on Football Manager, both the good side and the bad side, and he created this tactic for his Blitz Spartan sides in non-league football, and then they went on to get back-to-back promotions into Skybet LeagueOne, and currently they are dominating in the Skybet LeagueOne. So what makes this tactic so special? Well, we'll get to that in a second. If you're new to the channel, remember to hit the subscribe button so you can get notified when more tactic videos do come out. I go on to share Football Manager content related to tactics, hints and tips and overpowered tricks to help Football Manager players win a lot more games and also to enjoy playing Football Manager and have fun with the game once in a while. If you enjoy that kind of content, remember to hit subscribe to stay up to date when new videos do come out. Yes, the tactic. It's a 4-3-2-1 system with some traditional roles and also adventurous roles, kind of like a blend of both really. The halfback here is quite important to the way this tactic plays, as he turns the back four system into a back five when the team is out of possession. The pair of wingback and fullbacks on attack DT offer the width in this tactic, and the main threat for this tactic comes from the Segundo Volante. By the way, that's one of the most powerful roles in Football Manager 2023. The Enganche, according to Zach, plays more like a creator in the side, someone that sets up the alley-oop in basketball.
Gathering, green up top!
He's stationary a lot, allowing attacking midfielders and the Segundo Volante to get ahead of him and go into attacking areas. It's an exciting tactic, especially in defense as well. Unlike most OP tactics, this tactic deploys a low block in defense, but still encourages the players to press very often when the opposition gets into the region of engagement. The line of engagement is low, and in transition the team tends to slow the pace down when possession has been won. This is something that could help the bigger teams, but if you're using a smaller team, I don't think it's going to be very useful, as you're going to struggle trying to get the ball from back to front. But I didn't also alter any of the instructions in this tactic. I kind of respected Zach's creativity as to how the tactic goes on to work. So in attack, the tempo is high and the team is more direct, relying on crosses into the box from wide areas to try and break the opposition's defense down. This in turn forces the opposition to defend the flanks, leaving room for the attacking midfielder and the Segundo Volante to get through the middle. The general mentality for this tactic is attacking, but since it's quite an explosive tactic, there's a bit of punch in there, so I do recommend that you can switch to a balanced mentality on occasion. And if you're using a smaller team, a mid-table side, you can go on to use a balanced mentality for those games where you're playing against the bigger teams. But again, if you're using the low block, you probably shouldn't have much trouble defending if you're playing on an attacking mentality. That should kind of counterbalance itself. So we'll look at the results for some of the teams that I tested with this tactic, and just the one team didn't sit through the entire test, but I think that was CSK Sofia, but the other teams like RB Salzburg did go on to have a good season. So this is the Austrian League, and in the latter stages of the Austrian League, the league is kind of split into the Championship group and then the relegation group. And since I tested it with RB Salzburg and Austria Vienna, looking at the latter stage of the competition, you can see in the Championship group that RB Salzburg went on to win the league. They had a lot of defeats and draws, but they had just the 20 wins, and then that was enough to win in the league. They're quite close to Wolfsberger, which went on to finish in second place. And then looking at the competition, all the other competitions that they featured in, they took third in the UEFA Champions League, which knocked them out into the Europa League, and they got knocked out in the quarterfinal of the Austrian FA Cup, which I expected them to win, being that Salzburg are one of the bigger teams in Austria. So looking at Austria Vienna to see how well they did, they were in the relegation group and they ended up finishing in 5th place. So that's like completely terrible performance for Austria Vienna. And then looking at the competition as a whole to see who did well where and how, RB Salzburg were the highest scorers with 59, on level terms with Wolfsberger as well, but they just edged them, and with like 2 points I went on to win the league. And then RB Salzburg went on to dominate in almost every aspect of the Austrian division. And then looking at all the other leagues, Panathinaikos in Greece, they went on to finish second. Olympiacos dominated the league with 82 points. AEK Athens were the other teams that we tested this tactic with, and then Olympiacos of course had the highest amount of goals. AEK were just behind them with second, and then they had 60 goals in total. Most dribbles were by Panathinaikos, so that's something that the tactic went on to offer for them. And then looking at the most points per game, Panathinaikos and AEK were in second and third respectively using this tactic. And looking at Shakhtar Donetsk in Ukraine, and then they were the highest in the league. They went on to win the league. I expected Shakhtar Donetsk to win the league, but they lost just 3 times, and then 74 points, just 1 point above Dynamo Kiev, their arch rivals. But the top scorer in this league was Danilo Sikan with 30 goals. That's a lot. Well, and then they got knocked out in the Ukrainian Cup and in the Champions League group stage. Looking at the team stats, Shakhtar had the highest with 2.55 points per game and the most goals as well with 68. Most dribbles as well. So that's how good the tactic worked out for Shakhtar Donetsk in the Ukrainian league. So the last team was also in the Ukrainian league, and that's Dnipro-1, or Dnipro-1, let's call it that. And then they went on to finish in 4th place in the Ukrainian league. They were in the Europa League as well. They ended up finishing in 3rd place, and then they got knocked out from the Europa Conference League in the playoff rounds, and then they got knocked out from the Ukrainian Cup by Shakhtar Donetsk themselves. So looking at the amount of goals that they scored, they had 2.14 points per game, by the way, and then the most amount of goals from Dnipro was 56. That's like really short of what Shakhtar Donetsk went on to rack up with this tactic. So I'm going to attach a link in the description down below so you can download this tactic and tweak it for yourself and see how it works out. But that's the way it worked out for the few things that I tested it out with. You can go on to test it out with more elite sides to see how well it works out for you. And for more manager tactic videos, you can go on to check out my playlist, and there are a ton of OP tactics doing well this year. You can check them out. And if you're looking to create more of your own tactics, I have a video covering the overpowered formations, team instructions, and player roles, and you can go on to watch that video, and hopefully it will serve you as a guide to help you build your own tactics or make your own team a bit more aggressive in Football Manager. So till next time, thanks for watching. Remember to like this video and also to leave a comment down below if you actually found this tactic interesting, or if you have an interesting tactic that you're working with and you want us to look out for you on Football Manager, you want us to test out your tactic for you, you can leave a comment down below. It also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already subscribed. It helps support the channel and it helps grow the channel. I'll see you in the next video.